Well, welcome into the studio. Today I will be doing a flip through of this chunky monkey. Yep, this is a journal that I purchased from Ricky Tikki Tavi. She sells these when she gets some made, she'll sell them in her shop. I'll link all of her information down below. And so it's quite oversized. This I used primarily for Junkjournaljanuary, which is a junk journal art prompt challenge that happens in December. It is put on by Meg Journals, and it's her brainchild. And this year it's sponsored, I think it was just this year, was sponsored by mixedmediaart. And I will link all their information down below as well. Anyways, let's get to this flip through. Now this does have commentary on all the pages, so it is a little bit longer than my normal flip throughs, which I usually just do flip through. All right, she is very chunky. And like I said, I did take one whole signature out. This is the signature I took out. So these books that she does usually have 3 signatures. This was a waterfall. And these are the signature I took out. So it was a lot of lovely, but I'm gonna end up using it in something else, I'm sure, because it's beautiful. So you're gonna see this is really gator mouth, and I love a chunky girl, so that's so much fun. So there are a few pages. I completed all the pages in here. I think there's one page that's not done, but there are some that I did that I didn't do for Junkjournaljanuary. I'll point those out. So like I said, this journal was made by Ricky Tikki Tavi. So it was fun using an actual junk journal for Junkjournaljanuary. And the prompts are not in order. So this was resolutions. And I have lots of gold sprinkled in here. And then I journaled on the tag. Quote. This is a quote I have posted in my studio. And then again, some journaling. This is throwback, this side of the page. And this is an Wow Studio chipboard. And again, some journaling. I made a tag that just had a flip using some of Tina Walker's washi. This is actually Tina Walker washi as well. And then on the other side it was Tuck Spot. So I kind of moved across with the same theme, just a little bit different, and created this tuck spot off of some under paper. And then again, a tag for some journaling with that same under paper. And then this is daily log, and I made these flips. Now this is using, these are from Wow Studio, and this is Wow Studio faux vintage tape. So each of these flip, and then I have journaling underneath each of those. And I think this is a Dina Wakley chipboard, or maybe it's a Tina Walker chipboard. I can't remember. So this page, Ricky had as the page was actually painted. So I tried to mimic that over on this side. And this was memory. so I wrote about a memory, and this was actually a tag from when Hope and I did our Advent that she had written a little note for me. So I have that here, and this is a bread tie. And this was stitched, and this was a piece that Hope made for me for our Advent calendar, or our Advent swap. And this is just a watercolor flower that I made, and a little tag with some writing that fits right in under that fabric piece. And this was neutral, which is some of my favorite. Now this was made for me by Hope and given to me for the Advent. Of course, who couldn't live without some mushrooms, especially when the prompt is neutral. You can see some of them in the background. I used as pieces as fodder for the collaging, and then of course I journaled on the back of this and made this belly band is made with some fabric that I got from Tina Walker. Again, here it is again. And this is foliage. These are leaves that I made. And this is an envelope that I just used some, I think this was fabric that Hope gave me that was some eco-dyed fabric. And then in here is a piece of paper with my journaling. And this was one of the free printables that Meg Journals did, or Get Messy. And then this was a little tidbit that Hope had made me, and so I just loved how this looked with this. This is a TCW stencil. So I sprayed this with Distress spray stain and Distress Oxide spray stain, and then I used a baby wipe through the stencil and pulled up. So this is like a leaf pattern stencil. I have it in my shop. I love it. This is layered, and so we have lots of layers here. This is a tea bag, and this is a piece of canvas, like the edges on a canvas. Eclectic. Reminds me of a 1950s kitchen. And this I did at an earlier time before Junkjournaljanuary. This is a scrappy tag from Ricky Tikki Tavi. And then torn edges. I have this is a tutorial I have coming out on Technique Tuesday. But this is some burlap. And then I made this huge tag. And then I have my journaling on the back side and my torn edges and torn edges of the fabric. That was a lot of fun. Oversized tag. This was garden. This is a new stencil that I have from TCW. Again, available in my shop. And some journaling. And a garden of my dreams. Behind the door of my dreams. And this is opposites. Going in all different directions. So the cleanliness of here and the grunginess of here, and more journaling. And this pocket was made, it was part of this junk journal that I bought from Ricky Tikki Tavi. And this was so much fun putting this together. So much fun. Here's my little tag. The word is flow. This came together so well. And my journaling. And this is just it was a clothing envelope. It came on clothing and tag that came on. And then these are pieces of cardboard, of course. Whimsical. This was part of this journal. Ricky had put this in here like this. All I did was add the words and collage. These are words that were on a 3x5 card that she sells in her shop. And I just added the layering in this little piece of lace to kind of match this. And under here is my little nymph fairy borders. So there's a border here and a secondary border with fabric here. And who can't live without mushrooms? And so that ends the first signature. And then this, we go in. I have an accordion here. And that is interactive was the prompt. And this was made by Hope. I love using paint soaked baby wipes, so you'll see that a lot in here. I have it here, here, and then I added it to this piece of cardboard. Here's the tag. The prompt is nature. And my journaling. This page was made by Ricky. This is how it came in the book. So I just utilized, I love how these pages look, so I don't usually do anything with them. And just try and make something that matches come through. So this is pattern. I use lots of pattern on this. I started with some stenciling. This is a stencil I have. It's a TCW stencil. I have it in my shop. And I just did lots of different types of patterns. And I thought, what better way to collage with some sewing paraphernalia. And that became part of my focal point. And of course I added this little bee. And this was fabric. I left this page, Ricky had done this page with this fabric here, and I found this tag and I thought, oh, the colors will match really well. I need to mimic that over here somehow, so I tried to mimic and just went a different direction. Here it's like it has this bit of white shadowing on it almost, so this I went on the farther side white, and then you can see the color through. And on this page I did journaling in the background before I stenciled, and you can kind of see some of that coming through here, and I think that's a lot of fun. Of course, then my elements that have to do with sewing, a little threader, and then this quilted heart. And this is ombre. Both these images for the then and now are from Louisa Heinzel, and it's one of her printables. So this was a bag pocket, and I just cut it down. I did my ombre, let some of it bleed through over. And when I wear purple, or I Shall Wear Purple, by the quote by, or the poem by Jenny Joseph. I really love how this is, these two backgrounds really match. So more modern which would be this side because she's older, it'd be more modern. And then was a long time ago, and this is real vintage. I kind of liked how that happened. I printed this onto tea or coffee stained paper. And this is Bookshelf, which is a big one for me because I am an avid reader. I get a lot of incentive from the books I read. So this side is texture, and I tried to use a quote that had texture in it. This is sand paste is in these circles. So, and then we have the texture of the text in the background. And then that kind of walked through for me for the bookshelf because, you know, the text of the books. And then this is a pieces of a off of a book spine, and this fellow kind of told a story along with he's a swashbuckler, and these have the swords on it, and you just get all that from books. It's an adventure. And this was translucent. I used some Seth Apter Eyes Ink translucent glazes on this, so you can really see all the different layers and see the texture that comes through. And again, on this card, I used some see-through rub-ons kind of thing in the background here, so you can just really see all the layers. And then I sandwiched that up with this fabric, and then topped it off with this bug from designed by Tina Walker and Dee Dee Catron at Uma Studio. And followed that up with a poem or a quote. So, and then this background fabric and this piece of watercolor paper, this was a page out of a yearbook, and Ricky, when she made this, she added this piece of watercolor paper and sewed it with this piece of thin fabric. I added this purple one because it kind of reminded me of this color, kind of matched it nicely, and some of the purple I had going on in here, so I added that just as another layer. And this is the lyrics. When I collaged this page, I really got into it, and I just didn't want to do much to hide the collage, so I came in with a little bit of gesso, but not like I usually do. And then I came in with some Marabou art sprays, but I just used the stick in the sprayer nozzle and just rubbed it on, and then I did some splatters, and I paired it up with this cardboard, and yeah, called it good. Found some lyrics that I felt went with it. That song's been going through my mind ever since. So this is grungy, and I really had fun with this. Grunge is easy for me. So, and I was really inspired by Hope to use the crackle paste, so I did that. And these are just words that I found in different places, and I just tried to make kind of like a statement. I saw you once and determined that you are excellent instead of a practical problem, like I'm talking about grunge. And it was a disappointment leaving. So I stayed. So I kind of left these 2 pages to speak for themselves and focused on this. And then this is the tag that comes out, and then I just have the text on the back, and this is open for journaling. I haven't journaled on it yet. I left this page like it was. It's just too beautiful to cover up. And this was geometric, so I started with a paper that was like the accountant paper, really geometric shape to it. I came in with a very geometric stencil with some green gold paint, which is very translucent, so you can really see the background coming through. and then came in with, had a real ugly stage, and then came through with these square pieces that were cut off of grid paper that I had used to make my template for punching my holes for when I'm binding a book, and let them just pretty much stay the same. I came in with lots of distress sprays, water, and then Stabilo all around the squares, and then found these really fun, weird words out of a magazine. I don't usually use magazine images, but I went with it. So this actually got made way before this one did. So this is Peeking Out, and this belly band was already made by Ricky. It was part of this book. It had a white background, and I just added the word here. I stenciled these ginkgo leaves, added the color, because you can see it did not have that on there. I added these to match kind of what was going on in here, and love this ginkgo stencil. It's available in my shop. And just used this clothing tag and did some this quote about peeking out, and I added the this is from a children's book. It was like a brick wall, watercolor brick wall, and then added this tea bag to it. And then later I came back and I added this piece of vintage map, and I took some used baby wipes soaked with paint and did some stitching around it, and then glued it on here to make a pocket, because this prompt was travel, and I knew I wanted to use this quote. So I just took a tag, and it was just like I had used it to sop up paint. It was pretty ugly. So I put more of this same baby wipe on it, put this quote that I had found, and added this fabric, and got to use my Dremel for the first time, my Dremel workstation, not my Dremel, but my Dremel drill press workstation, drilled holes in these Monopoly games. So he's like traveling on the map, headed home. And the green really brought in the green from the background of the quote. And then I have this space to be able to journal on. And this is the last page, and this was Reflect, and I took this like me reflecting back on 2023 and where I plan to go in 2024. So this was a bit that I had made, and all I did was I added this fabric and this button, this wooden button, and the quote. And last year in 2023, my word for the year, I don't usually do a word for the year, but I did last year because it was just blazing at me, the word brave. And so I used a quote that talked about that. So in 2024, I'm not really using a word again, but it's my low stress, no stress year. And that's what I'm really focusing on. I just left this page the way it was. I really like how Ricky does this. And she had used this fabric, was here, this striped fabric. This fabric is actually from, she made this for me for the Advent. And then I just tucked the prompt underneath. This is a tag from clothing. If you haven't checked out Dovetail Workwear, I highly suggest it. I love their pants. They have these pants that are, I'm actually wearing them. They feel like a sweatpant, but wear the durability on them as like a jean, and I just love them. I think it's called a Krista. Anyways, Krista DIY, I think. Anyways, beautiful pants, but so I thought I'd leave it because the oranges worked really well. And I like to use tags from things that I purchase and buy because I think it adds, usually I cover them up, but I thought I would leave it. I have the same type of paper that she used on this side, so I just mirrored it like it's a reflection. And then I came in with some more of that same paper and just kind of mimicked how she whitewashed it here. So it just kind of brings it all together. And this was the original strapping that was on this tag. So that completes it. This was part of the original journal that when she does these journals, she does put that on there. A photo in the back and a library pocket on the front. So yeah, loved it. This was so much fun. As you can see, she's quite a chunky monkey, but she was so much fun to work in. So anyways, thanks for coming along and watching, and hopefully I'll have something new for you to see soon. All right.